It's clear that at the moment we cannot fight with those cars.
We just have to try and make the car go as fast as we can.
Listen, guys, hold on. Let me show you something, because what's happening to Max Verstappen right now will genuinely shock you. His own mentor wrote him off. A racing legend wants him banned. His car is literally falling apart underneath him. His dad just survived a horror crash, and yet Miami is about to change everything. Today, we're breaking down why the people calling Max finished are about to look very, very stupid. Stay with me, because this one is going to hit different for the Orange Army.
GT3 drama, Montoya's warning. So let's start with something that went viral just days ago. You know Juan Pablo Montoya, 7-time Grand Prix winner, no-nonsense kind of guy? Well, he went on his podcast and basically demanded that Red Bull ground Max Verstappen like a teenager who took the car without permission. And the reason why is genuinely shocking. On April 18th, during the very same Nürburgring race that Max was competing in, a driver named Juha Miettinen lost his life in a 7-car crash, a real tragedy that shook the entire motorsport world. And Montoya's reaction was immediate. He said Red Bull should ban Max from GT3 racing 200%, no question. His argument was simple. Red Bull has invested hundreds of millions into this man, and they're letting him drive on one of the most dangerous circuits on the planet. But here's the thing that really stings. Montoya said Red Bull won't actually do anything because, and I'm quoting here, they are afraid of losing him. Think about that for a second. The most powerful team in F1 history is scared of their own driver.
Marko drops the bomb. And if that wasn't enough to make Orange Army fans feel a little sick, let's talk about Helmut Marko. Now, if you don't know who Marko is, this is the man who discovered Max, believed in him before anyone else did, and was the last person in 2025 who still thought the title was possible when everyone else had given up. This man is Max's biggest supporter in the paddock. Or at least he was. Because Marko, who left Red Bull at the end of 2025, still hurting from that 2-point loss, recently gave his honest assessment of 2026. And it was brutal. He said the title will go to someone powered by a Mercedes engine, and when asked directly about Max's chances, he admitted, "I'm afraid that won't happen this year." The man who never stopped believing just stopped believing. And that, right there, is the weight of this moment.
The car that's destroying Max.
Now let's get into the real problem, because this is where things get properly painful. The RB22, Red Bull's 2026 car, is simply not working. And I don't mean a little off. I mean Max described driving it as pure survival, every single lap. He said, "We turned it upside down and it was exactly the same," meaning no matter what setup they tried, nothing worked. That is terrifying coming from a 4-time champion who can make almost any car fast. The technical analysis is damning, too. Red Bull made a fundamental design mistake. They prioritized low drag when building the car, which left it starving for downforce and completely unstable through corners. The engine is actually not the main issue, believe it or not. The chassis is just terrible. Max's own teammate Isaac Hadjar confirmed it plainly. The engine is good, but the chassis is terrible. And behind the scenes, multiple senior engineers have quietly walked out the door. Christian Horner, gone. Helmut Marko, gone. Adrian Newey, gone. The people who built the dynasty have left the building, and the atmosphere inside the team has reportedly turned sour. Red Bull right now is a team in genuine crisis.
Something just happened at Silverstone.
But here's where I need you to pay very close attention, because this is where the story changes direction completely. While everyone was writing the obituary for Max's 2026 season, Red Bull quietly drove their car to Silverstone last week. No announcement, no media access, just leaked spy shots from fans near the circuit. And what those photos showed sent the F1 world into a frenzy. The car looked completely different. New front wing, new side pods with a sharper, more aggressive angle, a new floor, and most excitingly, Red Bull tested the so-called Macarena rear wing, which is the same rotating rear wing concept Ferrari has been using, and which experts believe could unlock 5 to 10 kilometers per hour of straight-line speed. Mekis himself called this upcoming Miami update package their second season launch. He said, and I love this quote, "If you walk into Milton Keynes right now, there is fire in every single department. That's not a team giving up. That's a team going to war."
Remember 2025, 104 points. And this brings me to the thing I really need to remind the Orange Army about, because sometimes when things look dark, you forget what this man has already done. Cast your mind back to last season. After the Dutch Grand Prix in 2025, Max was 104 points behind the championship leader. 104. Journalists were calling it over. Pundits were already writing their end-of-an-era pieces. And then Max Verstappen went on the most extraordinary comeback run in modern Formula One history, winning 5 out of 8 races, cutting that gap down to just 2 points going into the final race in Abu Dhabi. He did everything right, won the race from pole, and came within 2 points of a 5th title. Max himself said afterwards it was the best driving of his entire career. A man who can do that from 104 points back can absolutely do something special from Miami onwards.
Jose crashes, family doesn't break. And just when you thought this week couldn't get more dramatic, Max's dad, Jos Verstappen, had a horror crash just yesterday at the Rally de Wallonia in Belgium. His Skoda hit a post at high speed. The car spun violently, flipped onto its roof, and was absolutely destroyed. The photos are genuinely shocking, but Jos and his co-driver walked out of that car completely unhurt. And you know what Jos said afterwards? He said, "It was a big impact, but it shows that we sit in safe cars. I'm glad we came out of it well." No drama, no panic, just gratitude and composure. That's the Verstappen DNA, and it runs straight through Max as well. Domenicali listened, and Miami changes everything. Now, here's the final piece of the puzzle, and honestly, this might be the most important one. Because while Max's critics were louder than ever, the man running Formula One was actually picking up the phone. Stefano Domenicali, F1 CEO, confirmed that Max has been sitting in meetings, giving suggestions, actively working to fix the sport he loves. And Domenicali's response was clear. He's the best driver, a multiple world champion, and his voice has to be listened to. And it was. New regulation tweaks are arriving at Miami, directly shaped by conversations that included Max Verstappen. So let me put this all together for the Orange Army. His mentor wrote him off, his car was broken, his dad just crashed, the regulations were killing him, and yet he tested a transformed car at Silverstone, he helped change the rules at Miami, and he's about to start his comeback. Because that's what Max Verstappen does. He doesn't crumble under pressure, he builds something from it. Miami is not the end of the story, it's the beginning of the next chapter. And if you've been paying attention to this man's career, you already know how those chapters end.